Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about creatine. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. Alright guys, so what is creatine? Creatine is a type of amino acids that is found in food like beef, fish, pork, etc, etc. So the human body can also create creatine. However, the amount of creatine that the body can create is not enough to give you that performance and strength boost. Therefore, we have to take a supplement in order to boost those creatine levels. Question might be, well, since you can get creatine from beef and fish, why not make that your main source of creatine? And the answer to that question is that those foods do not come with enough creatine. One scoop, which is 5 grams of creatine, is equivalent to about 1.5 kilograms of beef. So you can see that, one, that's a lot of calories. Second, that's a lot of eating. Just too much effort. So by taking creatine, it's a lot more efficient, a lot more cost efficient to bring your creatine levels up compared to making beef or fish your main source of creatine. I keep saying protein for some reason. But yeah, let's move on. So what is the benefits of creatine? Creatine is a performance enhancer. It boosts performance, muscle recovery, even brain cognition, believe it or not. And creatine has been researched widely. Thousands of researches have been done on it, and it's completely safe. In terms of side effects, there seems to be, little critics here and there saying it causes hair loss and stuff like that, which isn't really true. I think that's just based on the person's DNA and how their genes are sort of built up. But apart from that, there is no side effects to it. Even long term, there is no side effects in terms of it long term. And the critics that there are, like hair loss and stuff like that, there isn't much science-based evidence on it to prove that creatine caused those things. So to fully understand why creatine is so beneficial and to completely understand its benefits, we're gonna have to talk about the chemistry a little bit. So the way the human body generates energy is by using a chemical called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. When the energy is used, the ATP turns into ADP, adenosine diphosphate. So what creatine does is turn the ADP back into an ATP by providing it an extra phosphate particle. This gives you an extra energy access, which allows you then to push further and harder on your workouts. So as you can see, with any high intensity exercise, it's a great performance enhancer to push you to that next level. Now along with that, it's also said to increase brain cognitive process and muscle recovery. Before we move on, let me show you what creatine I use. There's a couple of different types of creatine, but the best one and the most recommended one that is out there is creatine monohydrate, which is this one here. Now let's talk about how you take creatine. Do you take creatine before a workout, after a workout, for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner? Let me explain that to you. So the body has what's called creatine stores. You want those creatine stores to be at its highest level. In order for you to do that, you can't take 5 grams of creatine every day. It'll take you about a month to fill those creatine stores all the way up. In order for you to fill those creatines faster, you need to do a loading phase. In the loading phase, it's recommended to take about 20 grams to 25 grams of creatine every day for the first week. Now the reason for that is that the excess creatine you take fills up your creatine stores, and then once that's filled, you take only 5 grams of creatine after the loading phase to maintain those creatine stores and those creatine levels. Now, does it matter when you take creatine? Not really. You can take creatine any time of the day. Just make sure that you take the creatine to make sure your levels of creatine are high. I don't know how many times I say creatine right now. Now, in terms of side effects, there's no side effects long term or short term. But don't quote me on that. There's still research going out there, but as far as I know, and as far as the research I've done, there isn't efficient evidence that proves creatine has any disadvantages or any side effects that causes hair loss and stuff like that. I mainly think it's just DNA. and the person's genes that's going through it. But apart from that, I think you're all good to go. Alright guys, if you like this video, like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.